Being Korean American, I've always been intrigued by North Korea, not inspired by, and I've even wanted to make a trip out there and skate the only skate park they have. But is that even possible? This video started from a position of genuine and maybe a bit of naive curiosity to an expedition of finding the answers to the questions like, what do North Koreans think about skateboarding? To the value and culture system of North Korea, including dress code, their internet access, and the kind of punishments that foreigners can experience by breaking the laws. But let's start off with the skate park. Is it even worth visiting? If you're new to my channel, I've been skateboarding for 22 years, I've been pro for 5, and this is my first perspective of Pyongyang skate park, North Korea's only skate park. Now, there are two very strange elements of the skate park. One you might be able to notice right away. There are no skateboarders. Let's see if you can figure out the second weird thing while I'm showing you the pictures. The park was built in 2016, sponsored by a North Korean businessman, Cho Kwang-ho. Apparently, he worked with international skateboarding experts and designers in hopes to spread the love of skateboarding through North Korea. According to ChatGPT, this is a state-of-the-art skateboarding facility located in the capital city of North Korea and is considered one of the largest and most modern skate parks in the world. Okay, let's hold off on judgment until we actually look at the park. From the satellite image, you can see that there are basically 3 sections of the park. On one side of the park, you essentially just have a vert wall. These quarter pipes and ramps are like 10 feet high. In most skate parks, they don't even exceed 6 feet, the ramps on the barriers of parks. But it looks normal enough. They even have these smaller sections within the ramps to drop in on if you're scared, which most people obviously would be. It's 10 feet high. And on the left is a 6-foot mini ramp, which is about 2 feet larger than your average mini ramp. And then another quarter pipe that leads into the course at the end. Now, would I personally build ramps like this in a skate park I'm designing? No, it's just too big, especially in a country where they're introducing skateboarding. These are heights that even seasoned street skateboarders that I know of would be intimidated by. Now let's move on to the middle section. As you can see, it's just ramps. The pyramid looks fantastic and I love smooth floor. There's no real point in having this extension in the middle, but it looks fine. The hubba the kids are sitting on is just way too low unless you skate the out extension part, which I can see being kind of cool. And then a little further down is just a ramp to ramp with a little flat part in the middle. It looks fun. That's essentially it for the middle part. So let's move on to the third section, which is the other side. Now this is where the highlight of the park, in my opinion, actually exists, which is this really cool bowl that is smaller than pretty much any other ramp in the park. So this actually is great for newer skaters. And then on the inside part of the bowl, they have ramps that are pretty similar to the ramps on the other side of the course. Now, have you noticed the second weird thing yet? There's no coping. There's no metal on any of the ramps, but not just that. Look at these ledges in the back next to the bowl. There's no angle iron on these ledges. If you looked at the hubbas, the pyramids, anywhere in the park, there's not even flat rails. There's no metal in this park. Now, there's no way I can know for sure, but after doing research in this video, I wouldn't be surprised if the reason there is no metal is to actually reduce the ambition to scratch up the skate park. Grinding a rail encourages people to deface something. Waxing the rail is going to leave stains. So actually skating the park the way a normal skate park should be skated would deface the park in some way, and I don't think they want that to happen. So I think this park is meant more for aesthetics than actual practical use. So is this a state-of-the-art facility? Is it one of the most modern and largest skate parks in the world? And this is where thousands of people literally started walking by, and I just thought I could record the audio anyways and was completely wrong. So I've traveled deep into the woods just to avoid any chance of the audio being ruined. Well, if you look back at the Google satellite, apparently the roller rink was about 21,000 square feet, and about 3 of the skate parks fit inside of this roller rink. That would make the skate park about 7,000 square feet. That's not even an average size skate park here in Texas. I actually just made a video about how much I like this tiny skate park in Texas, and this park is 12,000 square feet, so almost twice the size of the North Korean skate park. The biggest skate park in the United States is about 88,000 square feet, which would make it 12.5 times bigger than Pyongyang skate park. So yeah, not one of the largest skate parks by any stretch of the imagination. I wonder why ChatGPT said this, and I wonder where they pulled their sources. So is skateboarding even legal in North Korea? Information about North Korea is pretty safeguarded, but we can look at certain laws and make guesstimations about what we can and can't do there. The government tightly controls many aspects of daily life, such as leisurely activities and sports. It's possible that the government views skateboarding as a foreign or Western activity that is not compatible with the North Korean cultures and values, and therefore prohibits or restricts it. North Korea is also strict about public behavior and dress, which would definitely affect the culture of skateboarding, but probably even affects the ability to do it, since the behavior of skateboarding is likely unusual to their culture, which would obviously make it illegal. According to the filmmaker Patrick Wallner, who's visited North Korea twice, skateboarding is very harmless in the eyes of North Koreans, but it's not tolerated. They kept referring to it as nonsense, which means that it's unaccepted and would be denied in most places. He even tried documenting some skateboarding, but that was denied as well. So this begs the question, what are the values and culture of North Korea? They're heavily influenced by the country's political ideology called Juche, which emphasizes self-reliance, independence, and loyalty to the country's leadership. North Korean society is about collectivism, conformity, and respect for authority. Literally the opposite of skateboarding. North Korea has a unique blend of traditional Korean culture and socialist ideology. They have their own unique music, dance, and art forms, and places a strong emphasis on the importance of literature and education. Censorship is common. There's also a cult of personality surrounding the country's leadership, particularly the Kim family dynasty. North Korean society is highly stratified, with a small elite class that enjoys significant privileges, while the majority of the population lives in poverty and has limited freedoms. The government exerts control over many aspects of daily life, including education, employment, and access to food and basic necessities. Political dissent is not tolerated, and human rights abuses are widespread. So how does North Korea actually control the population? One way is they use CCTV, which is actually common in South Korea as well. These are closed-circuit television cameras that are actually installed throughout the country, especially in urban areas and around important government and military installations. So skateboarding is tolerated a lot in first world countries, especially in America. I can skate and not have to worry about being arrested. Even when skateboarding is illegal in an area, cops are hesitant to enforce any real punishment because it's universally accepted as a sport or hobby within the country. So what are the unique laws in North Korea that could limit some of the growth of skateboarding, or just the unique laws that are scary? Well, there's 10 of them. One, there's 3 generations of punishment. If one member of a family is convicted of a crime, their children, parents, and sometimes even grandparents can be punished for it. 2, there are strict dress codes. There are strict rules on how citizens should dress, including the requirement to wear pins with images of the country's former leaders. 3, there's a ban on foreign media. The government heavily controls the media, which means they're not watching these videos. That makes me sad. It's illegal to watch any foreign news or movies. Number 4, there's no freedom of speech. Citizens are not allowed to criticize the government or the leaders, and doing so can lead to severe punishment. Number 5, there's restricted internet access. Internet access is limited to a small number of government officials and researchers, and the general public has no access to it. Number 6 is mandatory military service. All men aged 18 to 25 must serve up to 10 years in the military, and women can also be drafted. Number 7, control of religion. The government controls all religious practices and forbids unauthorized religious activities. Number 8 is a ban on smoking. Smoking is prohibited in public places, and cigarettes with foreign brand names are not allowed. Number 9, there's no public gatherings. Public gatherings are strictly controlled and require government permission, and citizens are not allowed to assemble or protest without permission, which seems to kind of defeat the entire purpose. Number 10, there's a ban on leaving the country. Citizens are not allowed to leave the country without government permission, and those who attempt to escape or defect can face harsh punishment, including imprisonment or execution, which just sounds crazy to say today. So with this, it doesn't seem worth it to me to go over there. Because the videos I've also seen of foreigners who go to North Korea, there's always this weird aura about the videos as if they're trying their hardest not to say anything wrong at all, because they could be punished heavily for it. So it just has this like creepy nature about the video. So I don't want to be a part of that. I asked AI if I could visit, and the answer was pretty alarming. As a language model, I cannot recommend traveling to North Korea, as it is considered one of the most isolated and authoritarian countries in the world, and travel there is heavily restricted. Additionally, the US Department of State advises against all travel to North Korea due to the serious risk of arrest and long-term detention under North Korea's system of law enforcement, which is different from that of the United States. It goes on to say that if you do actually decide to go anyways, most visitors are required to join a pre-arranged tour group with government-approved guide, and all activities are strictly controlled by the government. So I doubt they're gonna be like, hey y'all, here's the skate park, let's get into it. So yeah, I'm good here in the States, but eventually, I think this year actually, I'll be making a lot of videos in South Korea when I go visit my family. I'll be spending a good amount of time there exploring all of the culture of skateboarding, which I feel like is underrepresented. Before we wrap up this video with final thoughts, I say we get an actual skateboard session in now, because my feet have been itching. We've been talking about skateboarding and I'm not skateboarding. writing this video has actually helped really open my eyes to what's going on in North Korea, especially compared to the South, which seems so much just like America, free. So I do hope you took something away from this video the same way that I did, and stay tuned every Tuesday and Thursday for a new video on this channel. I'm uploading videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right now on my second channel. So there's videos about skateboarding every weekday on my channels. If you want to subscribe to both, go ahead, and eventually we might even pick up the pace more because I have been in a flow and I have found a lot of interesting topics to cover. So we're going ham. This year is going to be quite insane. So subscribe and join the ride, and I'll see you next time. Take care, progress daily, and keep killing it.